Then there was the man from Yale, who ran from the cloistered walls of the Ivy League into the pros without losing a stride. Unheralded but unstoppable, Calvin Hill became the most feared power-speed combination to hit the pros since Jimmy Brown. In a game of specialists, versatile Calvin Hill was a throwback to earlier eras because he ran, caught, and passed with equal ease. Whether the Cowboys needed 5 yards or 55 yards, it made little difference to Calvin Hill. "24 players were drafted ahead of Hill, but he was football's Rookie of the Year. Although he ran brilliantly outside at 6'4" and 224 pounds, Hill was made to run over people, and he did. But he didn't just run over tacklers. He jumped over and at them with the zest and style of a Ty Cobb in football cleats. With Hill and their offense healthy again, it was 7 days to Sunday, a day when the Cowboys would know their renaissance was not yet complete.
Option pass. Triple threat rookie Calvin Hill disguised the play beautifully, then unlimbered a 53-yard toss to Rensel, who was all alone when the ball arrived. But the midget soon turned into a 6'4", 227-pound giant atom smasher named Calvin Hill. Hill, number 35, ground out 141 yards and 2 touchdowns against the stubborn Saints. Dallas turned Hill loose again, and the Cowboys were in their familiar position atop the Capital Division. Move on the ground with the explosive thrusts of their rookie running back Calvin Hill, number 35, the NFL's leading rusher. Though Dallas blended their offensive firepower with one of the stingiest defenses in the game, undaunted, Dallas struck back on a screen pass to Hill, who steamrolled 24 yards through the Eagles' secondary. Disaster struck Philadelphia when Hill fumbled and Lance Rensel recovered in the end zone to tie the score at 7. From that point on, it was all Dallas and all Calvin Hill. First, he stampeded through the middle on a routine circle route. Then he transformed a basic sweep into a 53-yard picture book touchdown. By reviewing Hill's run, we can see the special talents that make him the most exciting power speed runner to hit professional football since Jimmy Brown. Every team prepares for the Cowboys' option pass, but no team seems able to defend it. Hill's wobbly pass to number 24, Dennis Homan, set up the Cowboys' last score of the half. To set up his passes, Morton probed the porous Eagle defense with the savage thrust of rookie Calvin Hill, who rushed for over 60 bruising yards. Morton's third. Sensational rookie Calvin Hill continues to make a simple sweep look like the best play in pro football. Hill gouged out 109 yards and 1 touchdown through a Saint defense that was stacked against him, and the Cowboy ground game looked awesome once again. The Cowboys were led by their 6'4", 220-pound rookie Atom Smasher Calvin Hill. Hill gained 150 yards rushing, scored 2 touchdowns, and showed Redskin rooters why experts call him the next Jim Brown. Hayes' 50-yard sprint set up Calvin Hill, who gouged out a tough 3-yard touchdown. Cowboys 24, Redskins 7. Calvin Hill's velvet smooth strides carried Dallas to its 34th point on an 8-yard power sweep. On offense, Dallas was led by Rookie of the Year Calvin Hill, who ground out consistent gains through a Redskin defense that was geared to stop him. Hill, for the season, gained 942 yards, the second best mark in pro football. Cowboys' last score came on a power sweep by Hill as Dallas triumphed over Washington 20-10 and appear to have gained full momentum for this week's playoff with Cleveland.
Rarely would Hill summon the skills that made him 1969's Rookie of the Year. Dallas would miss their sky pilot, freewheeling and free-falling, attacking a defense.
Led by Calvin Hill, who rushed for 117 yards, the Dallas offense asserted its dominance over the tough-hitting Eagles. His ability to improvise on the run turned losses into big gains, defeat into victory.
From blocks by number 84, Pettis Norman, and number 72, Tony Liscio, and Calvin Hill's power running.
Calvin Hill's fourth quarter touchdown prevented a shutout as the Cardinals stopped Dallas 20-7. The Cowboys found out that the only way to stop St. Louis may be to break their heart.
Usually sure-footed, Calvin Hill had a hard time adapting to the AstroSurf until he remembered his track and field days at Yale and brought the hop, step, and jump into pro football.
And they quickly got a feeling for some of that Central Division local color, black and blue. The Cowboys had their moments, but not many like this one late in the fourth period. For the most part, the high-stepping Calvin Hill was throttled.
Then Calvin Hill, number 35, tried to move it, but managed 4 yards between them.
It is second down, and let's say 7 yards to go. This time Garrison goes in motion. The handoff to Hill over the left side. Calvin Hill is up to about the 37-yard line before again Larry Wilson comes out of the secondary to make the tackle. Garrison and Hill, the setbacks for the Cowboys. Hayes to the left, Rinsel to the right. Calvin Hill runs with power. Wow. All the way to the 37-yard line. Don Parrish makes the tackle.
This is the kind of running that people have been wondering where Calvin Hill has been all year. This is the Rookie of the Year, of course, last year, number 35. Straight handoff, power play. You're getting some good blocks from Rayfield right over there. You'll see number 57, Parrish. And down under that was John Nyland, number 76. And John was blocking old Parrish. And he and Calvin, they had him going.
Second down and 1. Hill again. To the 40. First down, Dallas.
The Cowboys repeated the same play again. This is not necessarily a Cowboy tendency unless you can get it from several formations. The basic philosophy of the Cowboy offense is multiple formations. We'll show you many different looks. We'll run the same basic plays. Take a quick look at Calvin again. This is basically the same play. You watch it for yourself. He knows where those blockers are. He's trying back in again behind 76, John Nyland.
Dallas is 1 foot away from a first down at midfield. Morton gives it to Hill, and Calvin has the first down as he goes to the St. Louis 46-yard line. Jamie Rivers on the stop.
It only took Dallas one play to score as Hill hurtled over the stacked Oiler defense, and the score ballooned to 45-10.
The next week in Yankee Stadium, Alex Webster witnessed the thorough destruction of his Giants. Number 35, Calvin Hill, was a body beater. At 6'4" and 230 pounds, Hill was a forbidding figure to a cornerback in the open field.
Calvin Hill, number 35, swept to his first touchdown of the infant season, and Buffalo looked like easy pickings to the confident Cowboys. For touchdowns, the Bills lost because they could not contain 240-pound Calvin Hill, who physically punished Bills tacklers and scored 4 touchdowns. Of the undefeated in the NFL, and the loser was on the skids.
One thing that is sure, they have a great guy in the backfield to give it to that can run, and that's number 35, Calvin Hill. Calvin is from Yale. He's a heck of a runner. Calvin can go outside. I think we'll see the Cowboys try to exploit his speed and the versatility that Calvin Hill does have. He may even throw a play pass tonight. Let's be looking for all of it. Now we'll hear what Frank's got to say about those wonderful New York Giants.
First and 10 for the Cowboys. They have the ball on the Giants' 24-yard line. They, too, shift and move around. Allworth now into a short wing formation. Now he goes in motion. The toss goes to Calvin Hill. Behind Rayfield right, out to the right. Calvin Hill down to about the 15-yard line, make it the 14. Carl Lockhart coming over to help out with the tackle. Joe Green is there, number 33. Second down and 5 now for the Cowboys. Allworth again, motion left. This is Calvin Hill. John Nyland blocking out front. What a block he made. Calvin Hill to the 4-yard line. You saw 76 John Nyland lay a crushing block on the Giants cornerback.
You also saw Calvin Hill say, hey, I need you, and he waited a little bit, which is also the mark of a great back. Let's take another look at it. Calvin Hill, number 35, 76, as Frank pointed out, is John Nyland. This play looks like it's going to be closed off. You'll see Calvin wait a minute, and then watch this block by Nyland. Well, that was Willie Williams. It looked like he blocked. And here he goes. Calvin Hill, truly a great back. Rookie of the Year 2 years ago.
Allworth motions right. The toss to Calvin Hill. Calvert, 72, with a fine block as Hill moves to the 5-yard line. Ralph Neely, number 73, all the way over from his left side tackle position out in front of that.
Dallas' second score resulted from a reverse swing pass from Roger Staubach to Calvin Hill, number 35. Joe Namath, big setback, waltz to an uncontested touchdown. But he has had lots of help. Number 35, Calvin Hill, is an all-purpose back who has it all. The hands, the speed, and the power. And the former Yale great scored twice against New York.
Get back in there. Go, Cal. Turn it up. Go, Cal. Run, baby, run! I can feel it. What a shot. Get up, Calvin. Get up, Calvin, and run harder, baby. Oh! Come on, official. Late hit. You know it was a late hit. Don't hit him, Calvin. Don't hit him. You're too big. Gotta be cool. You gotta be cool.
Running back Calvin Hill threw for one touchdown and hurdled his way to another as Dallas gained a hard-earned 17-13 victory. After 3 straight victories, Dallas won a trip to Philadelphia, brought a rematch with St. Louis. Dallas was led by Calvin Hill, who homed in on his first 1,000-yard season. Behind the blocking of All-Pro John Nyland, number 76, Hill poured into the Cardinal Mixmaster 25 times. Behind All-Pro Rayfield Wright, Dave Manders, Ralph Neely, and Blaine Nye, Hill rushed 120 yards near those 1,000 yards. Was simply devastating and exacted a sweet measure of revenge on Washington. Calvin Hill gained his 1,000 yards and scored the first 2 Cowboy touchdowns. With 5 minutes gone in the last period, Staubach's generalship and Hill's 48-yard run set up a Tony Fritsch field goal that cut the lead to 28-16. And there were few pairs the equal of Walt Garrison and Calvin Hill. Hill gained 1,000 yards the hard way by time and again offering up his big body to the meat grinder, accumulating a few yards and a few more bruises at a time. Running snug behind a matchless offensive line, Hill parlayed the power sweep into 6 touchdowns in 1972.
Leading 13-3, Dallas rallied with 2 touchdowns, one on a Calvin Hill dive and led 17-13 late in the last quarter. With time waning, very strange things.
Scored the first 2 Dallas touchdowns, the second coming on a zone-splitting pass by quarterback Craig Morton.
All-Pro guard John Nyland, number 76, Calvin Hill swept to an easy score.
Calvin Hill, whose roughhouse runs netted him 100 yards on the day. Dallas's first touchdown. Calvin Hill rounded out the rout of the Eagles with a picture-perfect sweep as Dallas triumphed over the hapless Eagles 28-7. Craig Morton contented himself with handing off to Calvin Hill, whose barrelhouse runs accounted for 120 yards rushing. On offense, Dallas relied on Calvin Hill, who became the first Cowboy runner ever to rush for 1,000 yards in a season. Behind Blaine Nye's picture block on number 66 Myron Pontius, Hill turned the corner for an easy score. The Cowboys built a 14-0 lead when Craig Morton evaded the fierce Redskin rush and lobbed a touchdown to the wide-open Calvin Hill. Hill's touchdown is worth reviewing because on that play, he was covered by number 32 Jack Pardee. Seeing Morton rushed, Hill sped to an open area and his persistence was rewarded by 6 points.
Hill carrying 6 in a row. Dallas reached the 4th point that Dallas head coach Tom Landry showed his true genius. First, a great run by Hill made his play selection look good. But when stopped on 4th down, Landry did not gamble, settled for a field goal to get within less than 2 touchdowns at 28-16.
Like Garrison and Newhouse, Calvin Hill is about as subtle as a punch in the mouth. For the second straight year, he gained more than 1,000 yards the hard way by dishing out and receiving hits yard by yard.
One bone-wearying times for 130 yards, and it appeared he too needed a compass to locate the right direction.
The second touchdown resulted from letter-perfect execution of the sweep by the offensive line and set back Calvin Hill.
On one of the few successful running plays in this entire ball game, Calvin Hill circled left end for the touchdown that brought the Cowboys to within 7 points, 21-14. It's Blaine Nye and John Nyland. Switching the attack to the other side, Calvin Hill followed his matched pair of pulling guards to another Dallas first down. Staubach then went for 6. Back on the attack, Staubach spurred the Cowboy comeback onward with a screen pass to Hill. The success of the last play resulted from a block from Rodney Wallace, number 71. Wallace replaced injured All-Pro tackle Rayfield Wright in the second half and consistently provided a sturdy convoy for Dallas's setbacks. With 12 minutes left, Another ram blitz freed Calvin Hill, who powered to the 10-yard line. Watch the false flow of left
50 yards, running and receiving. The Cowboys' first score resulted from perfect execution. Watch middle linebacker Jim Files move with Walt Garrison. With the middle vacated, guard Blaine Nye, number 61, blew out Dan Goish, and Hill burst in for 6 points. But New York hung tough.
It was also homecoming for former Yalie Calvin Hill, and although he did not tear up the old sod, Calvin rushed for nearly 100 tough yards.
Of give and take, and Miami's no-name defense more than matched Doomsday's thunder.
Staubach used number 35, Calvin Hill, to move this one for 15 yards. 2 plays later, Hill gave Dallas the lead.
Line blasted out touchdowns for a fleet of Dallas running backs. Only a series of nagging injuries prevented Calvin Hill from joining the coveted 1,000-yard club for the 3rd straight year.
Setback Calvin Hill, a defector to the World Football League, answered the question about whether he would save himself for the WFL as he showed his heels and then his hands to the Falcons.
The intricate Dallas offense again failed to mesh gears on the first play of their next possession. But from the Cowboy 33, Calvin Hill began to bang. Though Hill and several other Cowboys have defected to the WFL, and there was some question as to how hard lame duck players would perform while playing out the string with their old teams, Calvin Hill left no room for doubt. Hill never ran harder as Dallas reached the Viking 41. Another on the next play as Calvin Hill went up the middle for 14. Hill, running beautifully, would gain 95 yards today, and his backup, the second leading runner in the National Conference, Robert Newhouse, never touched the ball at all. On Hill's run, watch the other setback. Walt Garrison blocked number 81, Carl Eller, to help clear out the right side. But here the Texans' momentum was halted as due to the exchange of punts, the momentum was going the Cowboys' way now, and Staubach kept it so, with a cross-court pass over the middle to workhorse Calvin Hill. Dallas had 22 yards and a first down. Nothing did, as from the 8, Calvin Hill roared into the end zone for the touchdown. The Dallas Cowboys had scored 2 touchdowns in 9 minutes to tie the game, and the Cowboys' partisans showed their appreciation. 57,847 were witnessing the return of the brand of excitement they were accustomed to. Dallas, a stumbling team that badly needed a lift, had gotten one with 2 consecutive series of offensive excellence. And as the not-so-automatic extra point, number 35, Calvin Hill, got 5 and 10. Then a good play fake by Staubach, and his pass to Hill gained 24 yards more. From the St. Louis 24, another draw caught the Cardinals thinking that the Cowboys must play catch-up quick.
2 Dallas touchdowns in the first half were the direct result of ground power. Calvin Hill first scored from the 5, then the 17-yard line, and racked up over 100 yards rushing in the first half alone. The Eagles used Roman Gabriel in
the rolling thunder of doomsday. Dallas crashed into a 14-all tie on a smash by Calvin Hill.
Nothing. For the last 7 yards, Staubach turned to Calvin Hill, who had 153 yards on the day, and Calvin's second touchdown iced a hard-fought 20-14 Dallas victory.
Trailing 28-0, the Cowboys slowly began to mesh in the second half. The comeback was spurred by the roughhouse runs.
On 1st and 10 for the Cowboys. They're at the 25 of Oakland. Calvin Hill, the big fullback, in a big hole over the left side, and he gets about 8 yards. And Howard, this is what was the concern of many of the Oakland Raider fans. They have a great offensive team, but they are weak against the run. They are 9th in their conference, and the Cowboys are, of course, are 1st in rushing. And what is concerning Oakland fans, Al Davis, when we talked to him last night, was that the Cowboys would be able to keep the ball all night. That's Dallas in the final game of the season will begin their drive from the 37-yard line. Calvin Hill sprawls forward, and Calvin Hill sometimes looks like he's gaining a yard or two, but by the time he completes the ball, he usually tacks on a couple more, and this time he gets 7. With a second down, a long 3, the ball just short of the 44.
Number 35, out of Yale University. And what a player he's been. He's gained over 800 yards this year, despite the fact that he's missed 4.5 games. That takes some doing.
Roger Staubach in his 6th year. On second down and 10, the ball just short of the 48. Pearson in motion. Toss goes out to the big one, Calvin Hill. Big hole, he has another first down. He's down to the 40. 11-yard game.
All right, here's the play that you just seen, and I'll tell you, they're really blocking real good up front. There's no question about it. And the only thing I can't understand is that Oakland's linebackers, who I think are very good, they just absolutely wiped out right now. And
exactly the point.
They're not playing for that run at all. It seems like they're really backing off the line of scrimmage.
Gerald Irons had to come all the way across to make this play.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, if I could point out, too, they are dealing against a team that has made more yards on the ground than any other team in the NFL.